Monday meeting here on June 11th, 2026. I'd like to call to order here at 1:30 p.m. I'd like to do a roll call. Jeff?
Here.
Daryl?
Here.
Ron? Here. I'd like to make a motion for approval of the February 20th, 2026 minutes.
Make a motion to approve the February 20th, 2026 minutes.
Second? I second.
20 minutes for this meeting?
For the meeting from behind, it's that one right there.
From our first meeting.
From our first meeting. We don't have any presentations. I will make a mention that we have an outside group of accessible parks. They're working to get their ducks in a row.
Ron, if I may, real quick,
Yes.
I think we've got a vote on approving the minutes. We just
Okay.
seconded.
Okay. I'll make a vote on approving the minutes.
Yes.
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 Thank you, Jeff. Thank you. Gotcha. Minutes are approved. Okay. Now on with the presentations. There are none at this time, but again, I wanted to mention that we have an outside group, Accessible Parks, are getting their ducks in a row to come and present before us, and also look to open up to the community, to have the community play a vital role in what our parks will look like in the future. And we are looking forward to have that sometime in the future.
Real quick, if I can interrupt.
Yes.
I asked Martina to sit in because I thought that the other group was going to be here.
Yes.
She has a special needs child, autistic, so I thought she could provide a little input too because she has a kid myself.
Yes. So if you would like to, do you have anything you want to mention at this time?
I just know the parks locally that has some like really nice pool station
Mm-hmm.
that kind of offers that like accessible both for like the kids that need that sensory output, but also it's big open space that could also benefit kids that kind of have like a wheelchair need as well. So I didn't know if there was like a contact that lady to see if she's kind of been to those parks or been around those kind of areas.
What are the locations of those?
Have you been to the park like that has a splash pad out on 188?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Mary
Crates,
Yeah.
Mary Crates.
Musical area and sensory station at it. There's one in Lancaster. And I'm more than happy to like get those parks and those places out to you.
Well, I know when we've talked in previous meeting and in just talking with the community, I know we're looking at something of a 0 to 99 park. We want something for the special needs and that, but we want it to be accessible to from 0 to 99 age for the elderly to come in, have accessible to so certain things, benches that they can work out on or stretch on and just sit and converse with, as well as the special needs swing for the wheelchairs and things of that nature. So yeah, that is something that hopefully we can get members of the community to come in and put their input in when we decide to come up with a plan and get an architect to come in and help us design something so then we can progress with some grant money or some other things of that nature. So is that correct?
Yeah. Yeah. I think we have to define requirements and then get drawings and, CAD models, that kind of thing, and something we can submit for various grant applications. And
yes, and I know it sits near and dear to my heart. I'm very fond of the special needs kids. I've coached them in throughout the different years, and I know Daryl's very fond. He has strong ties with special needs kids, and I'm sure Jeff's got passion in his heart. So our goal is definitely the special needs, but we want to definitely make it the 0 to 99 to be all inclusive and to have a park that we can really be proud of. There is no old business. So with the new business, again, we want to review the needs for the potential improvements for the Miller Park and then also over the West Side Park. The Miller Park, that is a place that we're looking at for the area that's already defined with playground equipment, but looking to have that be our place for a new park. And we're going to work with the community to find out what the needs are and go from there. Anything you have to add on that, Jeff?
No, I don't think so. I think, I think the main thing is like, what are we defining what we want, I think is the next critical path item, before we can get, That said, I probably will take it as an action item to talk with some folks at the county level just to explore what avenues for funding are there and what requirements do they need. For example, if we have a directionally correct estimate, will that be enough to get us in line, or do we need something that's more concrete of this is what it is and will look like and what it'll cost? So I think there are things we can do in parallel before we have the input from ACC
Mhm.
on what they're looking for and what the community has. So I'll take that as an action item. But yeah, I think that's essentially the next critical path item.
Okay.
If they can, South Central Power, they offer grants to communities. And their grants are targeted towards inclusivity.
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of the direction that their grants go. So that, I mean, it's not gonna be hundreds of thousands of dollars, but
It's
something
Everything
to
helps. Yeah.
look into.
Thank you.
And they do those often, and I've actually looked at the list, and they do a lot of grants to a lot of local communities.
Great.
So that's something to do.
I'm thinking
Yeah.
the space over there. There's like where the old fence was, and then there's that sidewalk going to the restrooms.
Mhm.
I'm thinking take that park over to that sidewalk and make it a little bit bigger. But maybe over to the blacktop, gotta incorporate. We'll put a fence around it again, think.
Yeah, I would think so. And I know we're kind of constrained with the two major functions that our park holds a year, the 4th of July, which is coming up, and then the Viking Fest, which just ended. So we're trying to figure out the space that we can have that will not hinder
Well, this
either one of those two.
yeah. Well, this
events.
was it's coming that sidewalk where it goes back to that restroom.
Yes.
That really wouldn't hinder anything. I mean, like,
Yeah, we definitely want to get the spaced out. I think we've looked at some measurements
15
already
feet,
on,
I think.
on how much we can. And then again, we're working with ACC on this as an outside group. But again, it's a plan that we're planning on doing if they're part of it or not part of it. And I hope they are part of it. But it is something that we need to get done regardless.
I'm thinking we should. They're putting brand new park in the school. Does that?
Yes. Yeah.
They're
They're
all
replacing
new, so-
all the equipment
Yeah.
over there.
I mean, I'm thinking we can see what they're putting. Maybe we put duplicate it. Maybe we put something different because that's open to the public.
Mhm.
So I mean, what that don't have, the other one have. We wouldn't want the exact same parks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and
Have
I
kind of
know
something
the
different.
gentleman that's working on the project over there, Brett, with the schools, and I know it's in the cycle where they're updating the equipment at the school. So yeah, we can definitely work with them to try to see what they put in there and to make sure we don't duplicate it.
Is that park or that playground rather? That's not, or is it focused on being accessible? I would assume that it's,
They do have it some accessible because they do have some special needs students, so
Well,
they
they'd
are
have
looking to
for
do
the
the
state. Yeah,
yes.
they'd have to do.
Yeah.
They'd have to for the
Yes.
state.
Good.
I think.
yeah. And I think we're thinking of with the existing equipment for the most part, and this is putting the cart before the horse here, but we're thinking rip and replace. We're not
Yes.
thinking to keep
Yeah,
what's
not-
there.
I don't.
Oh,
I do
yeah,
not
it's
believe
old.
the age of that equipment. I believe definitely it is
I
replaced.
swang on them things when I was in grade school.
Yes, replace. Yes, we did. Let's kind of shift gears towards the West Side Park. I wish Roger would have been here, but to talk more about it, he is very knowledgeable about what's going on over there and everything else. But I believe there's a possible 15 acres over there for an expansion of the park. Is that correct, April?
Is that
So-
north of it?
It's
You know your bearing, get your bearings straight.
It's south of the water plant, or the
Yeah.
sewer plant.
yes.
Yeah,
And
well, it goes about north of the.
It's area that the village had set aside
Yeah.
possibly for a sewer plant, but that's not going to be
It's
used now.
likely
So,
not gonna be.
so more than likely we're going to make it a park and allow that for the west side and
I think
hopefully
that'd be-
walking path and some other things that we can put in there.
I think I'd entertain like a swimming pool again. I mean, we had fun at our swimming pool. We loved that thing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
Expensive to maintain.
Yeah, they are, but I mean,
Very
Churro
expensive.
has other people. They pay half of it. I mean,
Well, I think Circleville's just getting one now, right? With the grant.
Yes.
They have one. They filled in Ted Lewis. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now
They've
they're
been
putting
doing-
another park.
they've been doing a lot of work down there too. Man.
Yes.
No, when we talk about the West Side Park that Roger is, that the mayor has spoken about in council meetings, that's not co-located with that 15 acres though, right?
Yeah.
They're close, they butt up next to each
They
other.
do?
They're joined, yeah,
It'd
they're,
be a park.
yeah, they're,
Yeah, so they'll all,
They're-
it
they're-
could be an inclusive park.
they're joined. Right there.
Over there by the terrace.
Is that May Avenue? May Street?
That ends into it, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So hopefully over the next year, 2 years, we can get expansion on that park. We can figure out what funds we have coming in, get through with Bert through April, find out the funds coming in, but also work with our, the community, and I know ACC is looking to do some fundraising for that.
I would like to note that we do have impact fee money.
Yes.
It can only be used for something new. So it can be used for exactly what its name is, for impacts to the community. So we can't replace anything that we already have
Yeah.
existing. So we can replace a slide with a better slide than this slide. But it can 100% be used in the West Side Park.
Because that's
without
all new.
Any questions asked, because you're starting with nothing. Now if we wanted to add equipment over here, we could do that, but you can't replace something
Okay.
Okay.
that's already there.
Well, I think quite a bit of a tad over here, just don't really a whole lot of stuff over there.
Mm-hmm.
And I know the idea is because this is the main park,
Yeah.
this is where the money wants to be spent, but
Yes.
unfortunately we're a little,
Well, it's limited
right, it is.
in space with the 4th of July festival, with the Viking Fest, so we're not really able to put something in that won't be in the way of another activity.
Yes,
Okay.
but that's
Yeah.
not an insignificant amount of money that we have in
Yeah.
parks and
What's the rules on that when we need to spend that?
Bert needs to submit a requisition to council. Council approves it. The expenditure.
Is there a timeline?
Yeah.
that-
When those funds essentially go away or go back to developers.
Yeah, 7 years. We have 7 years to use them, and we're about halfway through the sum
Okay.
of the money that we have now. That's why I'm bringing it up.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Miller Park is obviously a high priority, but we shouldn't not do something else.
Yeah.
If there's
I-
funding available that we'll lose.
I think if we sit down as a group and we come up with a game plan on what we want at this park, at Miller Park, then we can figure out what would be considered to be monies towards that for the additional items. And then the replacement items come through other funds, as they become available, other grant monies and things through that. Yeah. Okay.
What I mean is, like, we should, in my opinion, we would move forward on West Side, even though Miller Park is a high priority. We could probably get started on West Side.
Definitely with the impact funds, spend as much as we can.
Hey, it's
Yeah.
great.
Mayor? Is it zoned? Is that property over there zoned for a park on the west side, or does that need to go through zoning
Yeah, if it's
first?
zoned.
Yeah.
It
You
is.
talking about the big one?
The
Big
west
empty
side?
space?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's all.
It's for now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. We were just talking about the impact fees and possibly using a majority of that over there on the West Side Park because everything would be new. And possibly put some things over here. We haven't gotten to a couple other items on this that we could spend money on with those. So going off of the West Side Park, we'll now consider installing of lights around the pickleball and basketball courts. We would need to go around to the community that's over on that side, those 4 or 5 homes that are close to the basketball court, and talk to those individuals and get their opinion on having lights. Would you say shut off at 10 o'clock?
Yeah, that's what council was presented last year. And probably the holdup was not polling those 5 houses or something, because it was lit always before
Yeah, it is.
until 10 or 20 years ago when those lights died or
Yeah,
something.
they were fixing.
And so, yeah, even though the park is supposed to close at 9 o'clock, that's kind of ridiculous because it's still light out at most of the summer.
Usually
Mhm.
right
So,
hour after
yeah,
dark.
that's what we're thinking. And my memory serves me, it was about a $30,000 estimate because what they were doing is putting those low intensity lights on the poles, couple, and it was Pritchard's. And then separate from that, the men's club wanted to put in some kind of a transfer or something that they could help handle the campers and stuff at the 4th of July. And I think when ours went away, that kind of went away. So that's kind of the deal. And I don't know. And then Daryl was saying something way back about that horseshoe pit. So I just, I'm seeing more and more use this year so far out of the pickleball court.
Yep.
And we have room for a third court there. And I said something last year to a couple people that were playing. I said, do you think that would be too crowded if we put a third one in the middle? And they didn't think so. And, pickleball's kind of controlled. There's still things that you miss, but it's still short back. So that's why I brought it up again, because it's you guys' decision whether you want to do it. And I don't know if I can deviate a little bit on all of the impact fee money. I know that at one point there was a discussion about replacing that closed shelter house, and Bert had gotten some numbers on it. So I was trying in my development of the West Side small park to keep that in mind, but it still gets, we're probably $150,000 in that park by the time we get a family-friendly toilet put in probably next year, and then the boundaries and the mulch, and we had to hire somebody to finish it off because with all the rain, the service committee got behind. And so Greg's going to supervise it to make sure that it meets the specs. So I don't know, obviously it's council's call, and there'll be more impact money coming in as some of these things ramp up.
Well, the men's club is kind of balking on that.
What's that?
The men's club is kind of balking on that.
Well, if they don't want to do it, that's fine.
Yeah, they said they did one do it. They've done all that building. They didn't want to do it. That's what they told me.
They what?
They did one new building. That was fine.
Well, they don't own the park,
Yeah,
okay?
well,
I understand
okay.
what you're saying, and that's the big dilemma that we
Okay.
have is I respect the men's
Yeah.
club and the fact of all they do, but it's still the town's call.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
they're possessive,
Yeah.
rightly so,
I
of the
understand.
kitchen,
Yeah.
but that park, shelter house, is old.
Well, sure.
So anyway, that'll be a fight that we have to
Yeah.
another fight, because they do a heck of a lot, but
Yeah.
yet you can't
Yeah.
continue, and it probably would take more to try to renovate it. So
Yeah.
anyway, that's another discussion. But I would, like Jeff, your question, and I don't know that I answered it very well, on if we had any seed money for the special needs park. And I don't know, did I throw a number to you, $30,000 or something?
It sounds familiar, but it's
I
been a
think
while
I
since
just-
I looked at the email.
Honestly, I think I blew you off because
Well, thank you.
when we were talking to Samantha, I told her, I said, we don't have a lot of extra money. And she was, they were trying to run down grants. And now I think that's a little on hold because they're trying to get something themselves organized. Because did I send copy the note on the Wellness Foundation?
You did.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Because, Nelson was telling me they don't like necessarily to give money to municipalities. But if that group would do it, that's something they might be interested in. They sold the property that Berger owned north of South Bloomfield. It's where they've gotten all their money. So anyway, that's more than what was going, but that's what the thought process was on the pickleball court. And, basically it would take to repaint the surface, which the paint is kind of expensive, and another set of nets and stuff. So it would not be a lot, but yet I don't know where the electricity would stand today. So that's it.
Okay.
I thought you called this meeting off.
Now I did talk to the guy that's two of my kids are MRDD, the guy, the girl that do stuff with them, who they are.
Yes.
But they was playing pickleball over here. Then he was out there, and I asked him, what would you like to see over here?
Mhm.
Because they use that. They said when they go out there, because they hit the pickleball over top of the fence and then they were chasing all the time. It gets annoying, you know.
Mhm.
So that maybe if we raise the backstop on each side, just go another 6 foot up or something, maybe. I don't know. It'd be.
Well, we know the park's old.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the stuff is old.
That was
I
his
mean, I remember
concern.
playing Little League on the same diamond
Yeah.
and everything else. So,
Right.
and I'm old. But we got to come up with a strategic plan
Mhm.
on where we want to put some of these monies first, and we use the impact plan, the impact funds. I think we can give some of it over to the West Side Park
Mhm.
to help get that up and rolling.
Mhm.
But then definitely go and do a door-to-door thing with the lights, make
Mhm.
sure the community over there is okay with it.
Yeah.
And then definitely that could be used for everybody if the lights are on till
Yeah,
9,
right.
10, whatever.
Maybe in the summertime, it get dark till after 9.
Yeah,
But it'll be on an hour.
And I don't come over and watch too much, but the pickleball court is busy.
Yeah.
It is busy.
It is.
And I think that would be an enhancement to try to add a third court and take care of that and get it up and running.
Dress it
So
up.
these could be some things that we could decide on as a group if we want to present, get a
Yeah.
game plan and present it to the
Council.
as a whole
Right.
on approving the funds for. But first, we'll have to do the door-to-door knock.
Yeah. I
But-
think the study, if anything, would be good for all that space on the west side. And I think Chris Tebby had drawn up some plans, but that was an engineering standpoint. I don't know. But that would be, I mean, to figure out there's I don't know how many acres there is over there. That's not huge, but it's pretty good.
I believe it's 15.
Okay. And I do know that, and I don't know what, I never got a chance to explore this. Shannon Rose owns the
Ashbrook.
diner uptown.
Mhm.
And he said he would wanted to see a basketball court over there off of Rail Avenue, between Rail Avenue and the railroad tracks. And I said, well, maybe we could put in a pickleball court too. And maybe there's enough room for a little dog park. And he said, well, I'd pay for this. And I'm thinking, well, what do you mean by that? I want to find out what he means by that, because, I cannot foresee in my mind, the town owns that property, obviously, why you would sell those off in lots for somebody to build a house right by the railroad track when that one house there is already sold 2 or 3 times. But that's just my personal opinion.
Mhm.
But that's the things that I've heard and going, and we're getting to the tail end of the West Side Park, the little park, and which will be nice. And we're trying to get from PICA if they'll donate 2 picnic tables like that's over here with one side no bench for a wheelchair to pull up to. But right now we're not getting any answers from them. I got to check back with Sam on that. So anyway, that's enough. I've talked enough.
I'm just trying to, we're all new to this. So coming into with this committee, figuring out a game plan.
Mhm.
So what I would like to have come out of this meeting, if agreeable, is to at least recommend to the committee, to the council, to spend impact fees on both parks once we come up with a game plan on how we want to spend it. How do we?
Well, I think you need a number. And let me say this, and I'm not sure how Bert knows all this, but we're not streaming this, right? We are streaming this. There may be funds coming from Edge Connects designated to parks. I don't know how fast, but I think if you're going to present something, it needs to be a number. I don't think you can just do a blanket. Yeah, well, that sounds like a good idea.
Mhm.
We've
Okay.
always came with
Yeah.
a number, right, April?
You mean for the impact fees?
Yeah.
You could just tell them that you have an idea, that, you would like to, we don't know what it's gonna cost, because everything, any expense that you want to has to go to council anyway. You guys have to approve it.
Mhm.
Right.
So you may think it's gonna be maybe about $200,000, let's just say. I mean, if it comes to you like a little bit at a time, you're approving it in the end.
Mhm.
So if you don't have you may want to have a firm number before going forward. purchase, yes, you can do a blanket. To answer your question, if you know you want to do X, Y, Z,
Right.
and we know that we've already got a quote for about $200,000,
Mhm.
yeah, we can go ahead and
Mhm.
do a blanket or a PO for that.
Mhm.
But if things are done by piece, you can still do it that way too.
Yes, I'm.
It
I'm
doesn't have
one.
to be one project, one BC or purchase
Yeah.
order.
I'm of the thought that if I'm sitting on council, I want to see a number, not just can we spend up to $200,000 here, because I'm not comfortable with that. But
Mhm.
April is right. They didn't set a lot of guidelines to help us out with this, other than you can't replace something. So a couple things. So yeah, if you have an idea and you have a ballpark or something, yeah.
Do we request to the council for permission to get quotes on the
No.
electric,
No.
or can we just do that?
You can
I
do
think
it.
we should.
Okay.
Yeah, and if I may, Mayor, I'm probably closer to you on your stance on that, but I'm in the middle where I think we can have, in my view of a perfect world, we sort of project manage this, right? As if we're, and I've done global go-to-markets before, so I would think that in line with your earlier statement, not necessarily a strategic plan, but I think we need a portfolio of projects of what do we want to do, right?
Yeah, and then to what you're saying, impact fee money can be used to hire a firm to sit down with you guys and come up with a
Yeah.
Yeah.
comprehensive plan of where you want to go, what do you want this park to look like.
That's
That
great.
money can be used
Right.
to hire somebody to do that with you, if you so choose.
But I think what we need, because we are all new, is we need to know, what do we have in impact fees? If we're applying for grants, what's a safe number that we
Mhm.
can, because they're always going to want us to have skin in the game. What's a safe number that we can confidently say in a grant application that we can put forward? So let's have a financial picture. Let's have a portfolio of projects. And then, we as a committee maybe stack rank those and say, okay, here are the ones that we want to get estimates on. And then I think as we go to council, even if it's the West Side Park, we're looking at directionally 150,000 for this type, give or take. Eventually, I think we would need a formal dollar number, but
Yeah.
does that make sense?
Mhm.
My vote would be, let's assess what we have available. Let's get our portfolio of projects. Let's prioritize those, and then let's start getting an estimate of costs that we can start to bring to council and have folks vote on.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
What about
It's
that?
probably going to take a longer committee meeting in
Yeah.
the future for that.
You've talked to Levi, haven't you?
I have.
With that one, weren't they willing to come up with some kind of a
There was-
plan, or what was it about there?
Yeah, I think they would. I think they could help us come up with a plan.
Because they had supposedly approved a grant, but we didn't know how much it was for.
Right.
You never did hear from that?
I don't know how much it was for. Levi did reach out to me a couple weeks ago. I was waiting to coordinate efforts with the ACC.
Yeah.
So if they are not ready to engage with us, then we run the risk of left hand and right hand not knowing what they're doing. But
Yeah.
at the same time, if there are monies there, then I think we've got to at least progress on
Yeah.
what we want.
Mhm.
So, but yes, long answer to a short question.
Okay.
Yes, I do
Well,
have.
have you guys decided? Well, of course you haven't decided because it's your first meeting. You need to decide on a location. Are you doing it over here, or are you doing it over there?
I think our initial thought with ACC was Miller Park, rip and replace
Okay.
with an accessible park.
Yes.
Well, if you tear out the whole thing, that's at least $50,000 to $75,000 area to replace what's there now. And Martina said that main playground piece of equipment where we just fix a slide, some of the other parts aren't very good. So it may be that that's what needs to be done. I was thinking more in line of adding to it, but if this piece is shot, then I don't even know if what the school's doing. I had thought about talking to them about what are you doing with the old stuff? But yet it's 20 years old. Do we want to take 20-year-old stuff and bring it over here?
Probably not.
If they donated it?
Not.
I don't know.
Yeah, and I think I was under the thinking that we'd rip and replace, but also expand because we
Yes.
probably need a bigger footprint.
Yeah.
Particularly if we want to have swings, they take a lot of space.
Yeah.
So,
And you
we
got
wanna-
that green space in there that
right,
we could utilize. And,
right.
you know, I don't know.
Yeah, and I think it is time for rip and replace. I think,
Yeah.
I think for the monies we're going to spend, it might as well improve the ground and the layout to make it more accessible as well, because
Mhm.
it's going to need flattened and a better surface put
Well,
down. And
yeah.
it's not going to be cheap.
No.
It's not going to be cheap. But I think to go ahead and make it an all-star park
Well,
is
yeah. I mean,
is
at
the
that
plan.
point, what I'm hearing is an all-purpose park.
Yes.
You know, not just for this group and this group, it's for everybody.
0 to 99.
And it has stuff in there that works for everybody.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't know for the special needs, I don't know there's a better word for it. And I don't mean to be disrespectful. Is it, what kind of a surface do you have there? Do you have to go with rubber mulch, or do you have to go with a flexible rubber surface, which is super expensive, like a track?
Mhm.
So, you know, those are things I guess that a study can tell us. Because, you know, I never was in favor of the study for this park here because it's so tied up, the main big spaces, that what are you looking at? Well, how can we put in this grove and one put in that grove and then one can be here? But for that to replace, you know, it would be nice to know what we really could do, and they could probably target the cost on it.
Yep.
And then, you know, if it's $500,000 and we got 200,000 we can put to it, that helps the grant money.
Yeah.
So yeah, okay. Again, I'll shut up.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
No.
And the main thing is working with the one outside group that approached us is wanting to look at being a fundraiser, not just for Asheville, but for all of Pickaway County. Just want to make sure that's known. Their group is looking outside of just Asheville,
Okay.
but they want to make Asheville one of their first projects. So we're
Okay.
waiting for them to get their ducks in a row. But with that said, I don't want to wait too long.
No.
I want to get moving on some of our own thoughts and ideas on this, on some of the other things we can do in the park.
Well, that's what it was meant when I was writing to you is don't lose focus on one thing because we need something done.
Yes. Agreed.
Okay.
Agreed. I think we will need a longer council or a committee meeting rather to
yeah, because
working session.
we'll need to wrap up. One of the other things that we're going to talk about that we'll mention in another meeting is the restroom facilities here at Miller Park and also over at the West Side Park. You mentioned about restroom with a changing area
Mhm.
over there, and I know the ones out here are very outdated. That we'll have to get with Bert and find out funds available to possibly expand on those.
Well, I think they bought 3 changing stations and put them in here. And then the thought was, at least this year, getting one of the porta johns that's family type, which I don't like. But
Mhm.
that's, I mean, we have to decide first of all where a permanent restroom can be placed based on the utilities and stuff.
Mhm.
So that takes some thought. So the temporary would be there as far as a family station. And then, but I think there's 3 changing stations in this one now. You know? You haven't been in there, right, Martina?
I haven't, I think they put one in the Hoshatter house though, so I think there's 2 in the, possibly in the
Okay.
Gospels here and one there.
Okay. I'll have to check with Greg on that.
Okay. Well, we've covered the 3 items that we had down here for new business, and granted, we're going to have another meeting, so we will try to get this scheduled, I would say, for sometime after the 4th of July, whether it be a midday. I know Daryl's available most times. here during the summer, I can get free with no students out on school buses. And, we'll work around your schedule on when you're in town, when you're out of town, and
Yeah,
when you're
with
playing
enough
Mis-
heads up, I
when-
can
when
I
you're
can make
playing
it
Mr.
work.
Mom and everything else going on in your life.
Yep.
Yes. But let's plan on, we'll get with April and we'll work on scheduling another meeting for sometime after the 4th of July. But let's get a game plan on, write down what you want to see, at the West Park. What do you want to see at the Miller Park, and prioritize the, pickleball courts, the lights, restrooms. And we know the big item's going to be out there, but that's probably going to be delayed some. Let's convene again. I will make a personal note to go over there and visit the houses across from the pickleball court and ask them about lighting, and I'll report back to that at our next meeting on where they stand from there. And then we can go from there and look at making a presentation to all of council on ideas that we would suggest that the council approve.
The lights, they're only going to be on an hour from 9 to 10.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're about, in the wintertime, the time changes.
Yeah.
I mean, I have one during the wintertime.
Yeah. I think one older lady Bert talked to about something, and she said, "Well, yeah, I think that'd be nice. That way I could see who's over there."
Yeah, well, it is a nice secured thing as
Very
well,
reason is, yep.
to let you know if somebody is over there,
Yep,
so I
that's
guess. Okay.
I'll follow up with folks at the county park. That Thomas Payne, I want to say his last name was. I'll follow up with him about potential grant getting us on the list so that the commissioners are aware.
And I want it to be known, Jeff, how much I appreciate your business mind and all your expertise in doing all this. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. We appreciate that. You're too kind.
Yes.
I don't know if I would call it expertise, but
Okay.
blind squirrel finds a nut occasionally.
Anything else you want to go over there? Jeff?
I do know that the Pickaway County Parks District, which is over here at Foxfire now, Bert and I met with them 6 or 7 months ago, and they were wanting a plan. But then they said, I think we have a plan for you guys. So you might follow up with them and see if we got to file something new. I do know that a couple years ago, there was the Park District came up with some comprehensive thing and a plan, and it was talking about buying this property and that property. And, you know, we're sitting there thinking, you know, this is dollar signs that we don't have. And then we had a summer intern that did some surveys of what people wanted, which I haven't found that yet. But if I find it, I'll turn it over. Unless I've given. Do you have?
Yeah, I can get it for you.
Okay, so April could give that to you guys
That'd be great.
because it would
Mhm.
it would help what people. You know, I've known people say, "No bowl diamonds, got enough bowl diamonds." You know, so now you know what they don't want.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I apologize. I was
Well,
trying to
I-
find. Oh, go ahead.
I was just trying to get us wrapped up because I know you have a hard close here.
A hard stop in 7 minutes, but that's okay. Yeah, I was looking for the gentleman's name, and I can't. Sorry, I couldn't find it that quickly. But I need to follow up with him because I probably am getting my details jumbled now that it's been a month or two. But I thought he said something to the effect of if you got on the list or submitted an application, there were firms that you could work with through that program to help design and engineer. But I need to get straight on the details because I might be misremembering some of that on what steps come first. So
Okay. We'll try to get a few of these ducks in a row before our next meeting. And again, we'll get together and schedule that for sometime after the 4th of July. And we'll go from there. I'll go and bang on doors and ask about the lights. So we have that. And then we'll prioritize where we would like to spend some of these impact fees besides a 0 to 99 park. Okay. Anything else anybody have? I hear a motion to adjourn.
motion to adjourn.
Thank you.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Thank you.
You're welcome.